Hey guys, thank you so much for lending your ear to this channel here. The topic of discussion that we will be going over in this video will be dealing with the Scottish Highland folk tales and Irish folk tales, or at least what it means. And we have a lot of proof and information here. It's not an entertainment video, but it's more of an information video. And we try to be thorough because before this subject can become ordinary in our daily lives, we first need to comprehend the facts and evidence of this subject right here. We just have to be thorough and have a mastery over this whole subject right here. So I'm doing my best to provide what I know, and I'm not coming at anybody as a wise sage. I'm just an ordinary guy. I just want to share this information with my people. We can be in a better place intellectually, let go of all these strongholds that we have over us, that has been programmed over us generation by generation. Unshackle our minds. We have we're capable of a lot, great things. So, without further ado, let's get into these things here. I'm going to start off with David McRitchie's Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1 book, page 150 of Chapter 9, and it reads, "It has been seen that the topography of our country and many other word witnesses in our speech all testify to the presence of a black race not yet blended with the white, and other evidences of history, of legend, and of custom have been adduced. Drop down. The popular tales of the West Highlands are full of dark-skinned people whose deeds are often recited by people half unconscious of the fact that they, too, are anything but white. In the tale of the shifty lad, there is the Gadash dub of Igalon, who is perhaps identical with the black robber of the Barra fisherman's story. Two tawny women figure in the tale of the soldier, and the widow's son is variously described as a slender dark lad, a black lad, and a black rough-skinned lad, while Ian, the soldier's son, encounters a black fisherman who lives in an island cave. The Song of the Yellow Yuletide mentions the three sons of the dusky black king Dwayne, and also introduces Kiar Dub, dusky black prince of Lomhan, and the Grugak, who figures in the Lay of the Great Fool, is of brown complexion. The king of Eosbane, butchered it, sorry, who is a prominent figure in the story of Conall Golban, is a slender black man in one version, and in another, lean-boned, savage, and swarthy. Stop for a minute. We're going to shift our attention to the work of J.F. Campbell, entitled Popular Tales of the West Highlands, volumes 1 through 4. We're going to look at probably like 6 folk tales or folklore, and we're going to point out the individuals, the swarthy, the melanated, the black individuals in these tales right here, because they do have a presence here. So check out this folk tale here. The name of this tale is The Tale of the Shifty Lad. Now, when you look at this word right here, my butchered form is Kadash Dub. That's my butchered form. I apologize. But anyway, the point is, look at Okay, so it says that the black gallows bird, that's what they call them right there. Then the widow asked the black rogue, which means black thief. So I may put up a screenshot of what that word means via Google Translate. So that's one thing right there. Gadash Dub, aka the black gallows bird, aka the black rogue, which is really the black thief. That's one instance. So let's check out this next folk tale here. It's entitled The Tale of the Soldier. I'm going to read two portions to bring the point out. Now, it says, when John got his supper, he took himself to the castle. He sat on a great fire, and when a while of the night had come, there came two tawny women in, and a dead man's kissed between them. Now let's go over to the next portion, and it reads, there came three tawny women, and a dead man's kissed with them amongst them. They threw it up to the side of the fireplace, and they took their souls out of that. And let's look further. Okay, this is what page is this right here? 644. Okay, now it says, when it was a while of the night, there came four tawny women, and a dead man's kissed with them amongst them, and they let that down at the side of John. Okay, is there more? Okay, there's four. Went from 2 to 3 to 4. So that's tawny women, and we know from that definition, that complexion term, what tawny means, you know. So now we're back at this dive into the Scottish folklore. This one is entitled The Widow's Son. So it reads, on the morrow he went, but the carlin stuck a beor nim spike of hurt in the outside of the doorpost. And when he came to the church, he fell asleep, and the black lad was watching him. When she was gone, he awoke, and the slim black lad told him what had happened, but did not tell him that her name was written under his arm. Okay, what else? Okay. Was that it? Yeah, that was it. Don't worry, we will finish giving the examples of these Scottish Highland tales that's full of melanated people. But let's go back to Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1, page 150 and 151 also. And then when we're done with that portion, we're going to go right back to the Highland tales and finish it up and show more examples of, melanated people. The Black Warrior Mordub, that is Black Moor, Moro, Moray, or Moor, has already been spoken of. And Mr. Campbell further states, in remarking upon British traditions, that a great black giant with a club appears in many Gaelic and Breton tales. And in the same chapter, he also speaks of the Mikan Dub Na Luidiog, or Black Girl of the Clouds, as well as of certain bald, swarthy youths. In addition to these, there is a bald, black-skinned girl introduced, the hero of the Lay of Oscar, Brown Oscar of the Alba and a big black girl who figures in the anecdote suggested by the song of the smithy, complete my tale of West Highland specimens. And that's the end of, well, that's the beginning of page 151 right there. So it's pretty interesting stuff right there. So now let's go back to the Highland Tales, and we're gonna examine the yellow, was that Mueller Tiak, whatever it is. We're gonna check it out and look at some melanated people being described in these folk tales. Okay, so we going into the next one here. Now before I proceed, I have to put up a disclaimer. You will hear some high level butchering of names. I could not find the correct pronunciation anywhere on YouTube or online. But anyway, let's proceed in the book. Well, the tale being read from is the Yellow Mueller Talk. And let's dive into it. It says, 3 sons of the dusky black king Dwayne, and drop down to the yellow highlight right there, and it says, up rose Kiar Dub, Prince of Loman or Lomhan. So going into the next portion right here, I take it that this is a poem in reference to I guess not in reference to, but I guess surrounding sea rovers who raided and invaded the Lachlan area. But it's very interesting to me. And it the highlighted portion, it reads, in the warm nook behind the fire sat a girl with one of those strange foreign faces which are occasionally to be seen in the Western Isles, and which are often supposed by their neighbors to mark the descendants of the Spanish crews of the wrecked Armada, a face which at the time reminded me of the Nineveh sculptures and of faces seen in Saint Sebastian. Her hair was as black as night, and her clear dark eyes glittered through the peat smoke. Her complexion was dark, and her features so unlike those who sat about her that I asked if she were a native of the island, and learned that she was a Highland girl. Highland girl. Okay, so moving along, we're going to go into this highlighted portion here, and it reads, one of the audience was a stranger from the south, a Campbell who had come to Barra from some other place, and who, as usual, hailed me as a kinsman, claimed Diamayad as our common ancestor, and Macallan Moore as the head of his family. His hair was yellow, though tinged with white, and amongst the short, dark natives of Barra, he looked large and gaunt and bony. So now going back to the story of the sharp gray sheep, there are several instances in this tale right here where it actually says, a bald black skinned girl, of course not in English but in Gaelic or whatever language they're using. So I guess people who are trolling or that don't want to come to grips with the fact that this was a melanated area, they will probably say that they had face paint or something stupid of that nature, but it's saying the black skinned girl. And we already have the information of the numerous tawny women coming in with the kist was or is a chest of clothing or whatever, but it was so many of them. We went from 2, then 3 then 5, so that what's that? I ain't doing the math right now, but anyway, so 10 women that showed up, 10 tawny women, light-skinned sisters. So now to comment on the tale of the widow's son, I mean, just look at how many people was described as a slender, dark lad, or it may be the same man, but just look at this Gilly Kyle Dub, a slender, dark lad. So that name Dub right there, that's a signifier of who had that dark complexion, who's really that. I haven't read the book to you guys yet, but in one book it mentions an African type, even though they're not of Africa, they're so far removed from Africa, but the phenotype and the outside, they have that type, that African type, even though they're European people. So, but look at this, on the moral, it tells you that this guy fell asleep right there. Then it mentions again the black lad was watching him, and then it mentions that again, and the slim black lad, so I mean, it's evidence, it's too undeniable at this point. So now with the yellow Mueller talk, it tells you, it starts off right there. I start off reading this part, the 3 sons of the dusky black king Dwayne. Now when you look at the etymology of the word dusky and what it means, I mean, dusky, it's dark, man. So black, it tells you complexion terminology is being used heavy in these tales. That's all you need to know. I mean, they're doubling down on it too. They're not just leaving any room for doubt. They're saying like dusky, swarthy, black man and all that stuff. The slender, dusky, black lad and all that stuff. So it's not just talking about hair, man, or eye color. It's talking about the most evident thing that you can think of. When you give a description in a police report, you give what? Hair color, eye color, and complexion. So why we be playing around with this stuff, man? We just, so the cops just ask for hair color and eye color and then just call it a day, huh? No, they don't. We know. Yeah, today we underestimate the intelligence and how they did things of the people in the past heavy, man. We do it so much. But, let me get off my soapbox and let me move forward. Still in the story of the yellow Mueller talk on page 934 on PDF. Notice what it says right here. It says, uprose Kiar Dub, Prince of Lomhan. There you go again with that dual terminology denoting your complexion. Kiar Dub. That's like black. Uprose black. That's basically what it is right there. Now, I love this part right here, this little poem that was included right here on page 956 PDF version. Notice what it says. It talks about this girl right here. They say that she was probably a descendant of the Spanish, the wreck crews of the Spanish Armada. And then they say she had like I guess her facial features look like the Nineveh sculptures. But then look at it. It describes her. Her hair was black as night, and her clear dark eyes glittered through the peat smoke. Her complexion was dark. Okay. Now let's stop right here. When these complexion terms are read, like say if they say like black Pete or swarthy Danny or something like that, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, it's talking about his hair, or eyes, yeah. Like Gorm, if it's like Blue Donald, they'll be like, yeah, it's just talking about his eyes. Or if it's Yellow Jack or something like that, oh yeah, his eyes, his hair. But then just look at this stuff right here. Her hair was black. Okay, it tells you that right there. and it tells you her eye color. Her clear dark eyes glittered through. Okay, now her complexion was dark. Okay, now she's a true brunette, because a true brunette is dark hair, eyes, and complexion. A regular brunette just have like, dark hair, dark complexion, and the eyes can be whatever, But this is not the new definition of a brunette, where it's a light-skinned girl with brown or black hair. That's not a brunette. She has brunette colored hair, but she's not a brunette. Brunette got the complexion. It centers around the complexion. And this girl right here, she's a true brunette. Okay, so, let's drop down. It says, they asked if she were a native of the island, and then they learned that she was a Highland girl, Scottish Highlands. Okay, so we got that confirmation. Okay, to finish out this commentary here, we're gonna look at page 957 on the PDF. Okay, now there's an audience right here, and then there's a stranger from somewhere else. They say he's a Campbell, and okay, so they say that this guy Campbell, he visited Barra, so he's claiming to be a kinsman. Then he say that their common ancestor, Mac Kalen Moore, is the head of the family, of his family too. But this guy Campbell, he had yellow hair that was tinged with white. So the audience that he was amongst was short, dark natives of Barra. And he looked bigger right there and bony and stuff. So all of that is to say that, all this stuff lines up, with the place of the Welsh when it had that, the small dark Welsh, or the short dark Welsh, or whatever that chapter was called. It lines up because Scotland had the same people, So that's about it. It's a distinction being made. So this part is taken from the folk tale entitled The Lay of the Great Fool. Okay, the highlighted portion reads, Grew Agak, up rose the warrior straight and brown, and the arms were seized by grasp. Leave the doorway, stalwart youth, thou art there instead of right. So here's my commentary on this right here. So what is brown? It says straight and brown. They're talking about his complexion. Let's just not play any games on this. People who doubt, in other comment sections, they would probably say his eyes are brown. Well, 75% will say his hair was brown. They never go to the obvious choice and fall on the complexion, but again, we have so many sources on this, man, that there was like various shades of brown, close to almost that umber black color. It's very, very, very dark brown, that it looks close to black. So all right, so we're gonna move on. So we are reading from the folklore tale of Conall Golban, and the blue highlighted portion reads, Conall gazed on all the company that was within, to try if he could see any man rising to stand by the king. When he saw no living man arising, he arose himself. McNair. Let that woman go, said he. Thou hast no business with her. That you would not do. MacGillivray. He gave a spring. He caught the slender black man between the two sides of the door, and he leveled him. And when he had leveled him, he let the weight of his knee on his chest. Has death ever gone so near? Has death ever gone so near thee as that? Said Conall. It has gone nearer than that, said the slender black man. He let the weight no more on him. Has he gone as near as that to thee? Oh, he has not gone. Let thy need be lightened, and I will tell thee the time that he went nearest to me. I will let thee stand up so as long as thou art telling it, said Conall. Conall loosed the young king of Lochlan and his men from their bonds and from their fetters, and he sat himself and the young king of Lochlan at the board. So now we are in the story of Conall Gulliban Part 2, and the highlighted portion reads, Away went Conall, and he rigged a ship, and when the ship was rigged, he took with him the slender black man, Duanach Arcadraud, the king of Lochlan, and the Amhus Armanach. Okay, so going to the next one, Magnair speaking here. I should go up to seek the thing I want, said Conall. Well, indeed, thou shalt not. There promised to fall first none but me, said the slender black man. The slender black man went up, and he shouted battle or combat, or else. Breast of light, daughter of the king of Ladheen, to be sent out. Okay, so now we are on page 1084, the Kindle version, and the highlighted portion reads, a gentleman who for a quarter of a century has been occupied about Gaelic books and translations, a native Highlander who is an authority in Gaelic writings and lives in a city but who had nothing to guide him but the words before him. Duncan, son of Brian, Murdoch, son of Brian, Thaddeus, and White Belly, ruddy men from Mull, swarthy men from Lorne, a valiant band from the King of Ireland, and all the nobles of the kingdom, as many as were with or adhered to him at the time. Drop down and it reads, it gives the passage reasonably and as it were historically or geographically, and it differs from the others in the meaning of Cronaig, which it renders swarthy from Cron, brown, and this is the usual method of translating doubtful Gaelic into English freely. I also had translated the passage freely. So this is the final folklore or folk tale that we will go over regarding the Scottish Highlands. Now, the title is called Duan na Kiardak. The highlighted portion reads, a big black girl came in and she asked a battle of warriors from them. Let me get to her, said Conan. Conan went and she seized him and she floored him and she plucked 3 of her hairs and she bound his 3 smalls. Then she went out and they loosed Conan. She came in again and she sought a battle of warriors. Let me get at her, said Conan. What canst thou do? Said they to him. They let him go and she floored him, and this time she did something else to him, and then she went out. Okay, that's it for that matter. But I mean, we all saw the elephant in the room. What they gonna say, man? The big black haired girl, that's what they meant. The big black, as in evil girl or something, the big evil. I mean, what they gonna say, man? Like the book Ancient and Modern Britons already brought out, man. The Scottish Highland Tales has a lot of, it's full of black people or swarthy people, melanated people. What they gonna say now is just talking about hair or eye color or your countenance or your personality or other BS excuses out here. Come on now. Okay, so this is pretty much the end of this presentation here. I mean, there's nothing that needs to be said. I mean, we can elaborate it, but that's going to be on another video. We already saw these Highland tales right here, and especially the last one, that Duan Na Kiardak story, where it said big black girl, but she was a giant, melanated person, melanated woman, so I mean, hey, part 2 is gonna come out later on, and we're gonna be discussing kind of a little bit of the same thing with the Scottish Highlands, but we're gonna delve into some Welsh examples, and it's mostly gonna center around the Irish Gorm tales right there, like Blue Eric or Green Joseph or something like that. And we're gonna just break it all down. Of course, the source material is going to be Ancient and Modern Britons Volume 1 again by David McRitchie. If you don't have that book, you got to get that book. That's a very important textbook, when it comes to pre-progressive era knowledge and sources. They actually told the truth, before the progressive era, well, more than they did. After the progressive era, it's just crazy stuff, man. If they can, man, if Michael Jordan was living back then, they would have turned him into, a white guy. Beyonce was living back then, she'd be looking like Celine Dion now. Hey, Michael Jackson, well, nah, never mind, I ain't gonna go there, but who's another dark skin? Yeah, if Wesley Snipes was living back then, yeah, they would have him looking like Robert Downey Jr. today. All the paintings would be Wesley Snipes looking like Robert Downey Jr. Black hair, that's what we mean, black hair. Not, I mean, we say he's swarthy, but no, we're talking about the hair or the countenance. We're not talking about his skin. Nah, never that. That's how they would be, man. Who else? Who's another one, man? If AI was living back then they would have him looking like Ricky Rubio today. With Ricky Rubio with cornrows. That's what hey, man, they just go, they out of hand with this stuff, man. I mean, because we got the definitions, brunette, swarthy, dusky, all that. Those things mean something. Now they just switched it and they took the meaning out of it, man. And then the place names like Black River or the Black Forest in Europe or something, or Black Hill and something, Black Mountain and stuff. It don't mean that. They're talking about the dirt and all that stuff, or the Black Fords, what's another one? Oh yeah, the biggest one is the forename and surnames. A lot of these names, they are named after complexion. They mean like brown-skinned warrior or something, or black-skinned warrior, black arms or something. Black-limbed person. That's what these names really mean. But they switch it, distort it, and tell you it means something else, man. The hair. Hey, when facts and evidence is presented, there is no argument. Remember that. Live by that. All right, take care.